Hello, welcome to Gus McDoll Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. In this series we play through the 16 operations of the German Grand Campaign in Close Combat 3, the Russian Front. Please remember to subscribe, comment, share and like the video. And if you want to show your support with a donation, the links are in the description. It is day 3 of 6 on Operation 10 of 16. Battle Briefing. Dogfight at Kursk, the last German offensive. The time has come to exploit your breakthrough. Your objective is to do just that. Smash whatever force the enemy puts in the field and roll to victory. Your command is once again attached to Das Reich Panzer Division. You should by now have amassed a powerful armoured force. If you haven't added a second command tank or vehicle, you'll need one now. Command and control will prove crucial here. Observers have sighted Russian armour moving toward the front, and reconnaissance reports indicate extensive minefields in front of the enemy's trenches. You'll have to manoeuvre around or blast your way through the minefields in order to open the road to victory. From the ridge you hold, you can cover most of the battlefield. The enemy can do the same from the hills to the east, so deploy with care. Expect to draw fire as soon as you crest the ridge. Use heavy anti-tank firepower to keep the ridges clear while your tanks race across the valley to victory. We start the operation with the same forces from the last battle. Von McDoll, Command Panzer 5G. Group Leader Commando Behorden 1942. Heavy Infantry Fallschirmjäger Sturmgrenadier 1942. Heavy Infantry Sturmgrenadier 1942. Heavy Infantry Sturmgrenadier 1942. Machine Gun Infantry Maschinengewehr 42. Machine Gun Infantry Maschinengewehr 42. Medium Tank Panzer 5 Panther D. Heavy Tank Panzer 6E Tiger 1. Armoured Car Puma Sonderkraftfahrzeug 234-2. Medium Tank Panzer 4D damaged. Heavy Anti-Tank Gun 8.8cm Flak 36. Heavy Anti-Tank Gun 8.8cm Flak 36. Anti-Tank Carrier Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251-10. And a medium mortar 8cm Granatwerfer. Once again, I want to upgrade the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251-10, but the force pool is depleted. I also need to refit the Panzer 4D. Instead, I will do something I have not done in this campaign. I will retire the Panzer 4D. Gefreiter Taylor is the lone survivor of 2 tank crews and has taken the loss of his best friend, Gefreiter Rudolfer, very hard. I am sending him and his crew to the School of Armour as instructors. I now have 320 requisition points and a single slot available. I'm likely facing Russian tanks, so let's consider more armour. In the last battle, I faced 5 Soviet tanks, 2 heavy and 3 medium. From here on in the campaign, I expect to keep facing more and heavier Soviet tanks. So perhaps the Kampf Group needs a heavy tank destroyer, like the Ferdinand. Heavy tank destroyer, Sonderkraftfahrzeug 184-1. Use this turretless anti-tank gun against any enemy tank. This heavy tank destroyer has excellent firepower and thick armour, but limited mobility. No turret means the Ferdinand must turn to swing its 8.8cm main gun more than 10 degrees. The crew is equipped with an 8.8cm L71 cannon, anti-air MG34 machine gun, and 6th Walther P38 pistols for the crew. The Ferdinand joins the Kampf Group. And that is Kampf Group McDoll. Let's examine the terrain and develop a plan. Soviet defences at Prokhorovka Ridge consist of hilltop bunkers, trench lines on the forward and reverse slopes of hills, and 3 extensive belts of mines. I have marked 5 areas. Number 1. Strongpoint girder. The Germans have dug trenches in the ridgeline to observe Prokhorovka Ridge opposite, and these provide some cover. The reverse slope provides cover from direct fire and concealment from observation, and is a good forming up point. Number 2. Strongpoint Elsa. This prominent hill affords observation over the entire area out to the ridge. The trenches provide cover, but are on the reverse slope of the hill. The forward slope seems quite steep, which may affect the angle of guns. Number 3. The open ground in front of Prokhorovka Ridge. This area must be crossed, but it is a major obstacle because it offers no cover or concealment from observation and fire. Crossing the open ground under fire would be murderous. Number 4. Hill 219. This hill to the northeast hosts a trench line with fighting positions. The trench line is protected by minefields. Number 5. Prokhorovka Ridge. A wooden bunker on the hilltop overlooks the minefield and open ground. The 3 belts of minefields present a major obstacle to vehicle and infantry movement, particularly if they are covered by fire from the bunker and trenches. The area behind the ridge is concealed from view and could be a forming up point for infantry and tanks. Beyond the ridge is Hill 236, and beyond that, Kursk. Key terrain includes the German hilltop strongpoints to the west and the Soviet-held ridgelines to the east. Decisive terrain is Prokhorovka Ridge. The bunker here covers the open ground and minefields and prevents onward movement to Kursk. Reconnaissance by the Germans has determined gaps in the minefield that can be used as avenues of approach. Gaps between the belts of minefields can also be used for lateral movement. The briefing warns us of Russian armour moving toward the front and extensive minefields in front of the enemy's trenches. The minefields are key to the Russian defences. Their purpose is to slow down any attack and to channel the attacking forces into predetermined killing zones. The open ground and minefields could be covered by an anti-tank gun in the wooden bunker on Prokhorovka Ridge and a machine gun in the fighting pits on Hill 219. Infantry and trenches could cover the gaps in the minefields. The gaps would also be registered targets for artillery. Tanks and an infantry reserve would remain on the reverse slope to counterattack once any attack hit the minefield and lost mobility and forward momentum. This defensive layout is very strong and could cause the Germans considerable delay, slowing down the offensive, until the minefields are breached. The briefing states that we will need to manoeuvre around the minefields to open the road. The briefing also recommends using heavy anti-tank firepower to keep the ridges clear while tanks race across the valley to victory. And that is what the Germans will do. The Germans do not have sappers or engineers, but thanks to the existing gaps and lanes in the minefield belts, they do not need them. Artillery, individual tanks, and heavy weapons will destroy enemy targets, and possibly obscure the enemy through employment of smoke. Under cover of the 8.8cm guns and Ferdinand, the tanks will drive in column through the lanes and advance to the next high ground on Hill 236 while providing the infantry with covering fire. Then, the infantry will cross the valley, breach the minefield, and build a small bridgehead on the far side of the obstacle on Hill 219. This will set the conditions for the main body of the battalion to pass through the minefields, cross Prokhorovka Ridge, and continue the attack. Breaching a minefield. Top. Reconnaissance elements encounter mines. Report submitted over the radio. Vehicles move back following their tracks. Engagements against anti-tank weapons. Possible use of smoke. Covering fire provided by overwatching elements. Withdrawal to covered positions. Terrain reconnaissance follows with the engineer and infantry leaders. Middle. Dismounted sappers create a small lane for the grenadiers under protective fires. Grenadier Company builds a small bridgehead on the far side of the obstacle. Artillery, individual tanks and heavy weapons destroy enemy targets. Possibly obscure the enemy through employment of smoke. Sappers widen the lanes for tanks. Bottom, tanks drive in column through the lanes and advance to the next high ground while providing the grenadiers with covering fire. This prevents the enemy from observing the breach. The main body of the battalion, mounted grenadiers and sappers, continue the attack. Major von McDowell watched on as his troops inspected a knocked-out T-34 up close. Wisps of smoke still rose from inside the vehicle, along with a terrible smell. No matter how many of these monsters the Kampfgruppe destroyed, they were still a fearsome foe. The trained eyes of the Panzertruppen were looking for weaknesses. Next up, the Kampfgruppe would lead the battalion attack on Prokhorovka Ridge. Facing them would be minefields, machine guns, anti-tank guns, and tanks. Lots of tanks. I have now moved my troops into position and will execute the plan in real time. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the various courses of action and if you have identified a viable alternative. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more great strategy and tactics content. And so we begin. No immediate sign of the enemy dug in on Prokhorovka Ridge, or to the north at Hill 219. The infantry Zug waits patiently for the order to advance, supported by the Puma and Schützenpanzer. To their south, the Ferdinand, a Tiger, and two Panthers with 8.8 cm anti-tank guns on either flank. Achtung Panzer! Hit! KV-1A. Another tank. T-34 on Prokhorovka Ridge. Another T-34. And another. In quick succession, 3 Russian tanks are knocked out. A T-34-43 remains on Hill 236. Destroyed. I suspect Russian artillery on the reverse slope. The German mortar is putting down searching fire to suppress the artillery. Waldmann's MG-42 now advances to strongpoint Goethe. The infantry Zug advances slowly to the ridgeline in attack formation. Under cover of the 8.8 cm anti-tank guns and the Ferdinand, the Panzers advance. A Russian tank crew tried to run through their own minefield. So far, the Germans have knocked out a T-34-43, another T-34-43, a T-34 Flame, and a KV-1A. Mortar searching fire continues. This will suppress any infantry counterattack force and perhaps cause casualties amongst the defenders.
Противник предложил прекращение огня. Gebiet gesichert.
Time to suppress Hill 219.
Truppe umgruppiert. Stellung eingenommen.
The tanks will advance through the gap in the minefield in single file. Von McDowell leads the way.
Stellungswechsel ausgeführt.
Waldmann's MG42 sets up. Altrichter's MG42 moves up to join them. Schellenberg in the Puma now moves up to the ridge to support the infantry. Schickner also moves up. McDowell has breached the first belt and turns northeast. The Tiger and Panther provide overwatch.
Противник предложил прекращение огня. Stellung eingenommen.
Zeltsman in the Panther D now moves through the gap. And flanks right. Gemma in the Tiger follows.
Stellungswechsel ausgeführt.
The infantry are almost at the jumping off point.
Truppe Stellung eingenommen.
Ammunition cook-off in the T-34-43.
Предложил прекращение огня.
Achtung Panzer! Su-152. assault gun. Ohlmeyer has the shot,
Truppe umgruppiert.
and Ulrich in the Ferdinand. The Su-152 is damaged.
Seine Panzerung ist zu stark.
And the crew killed or injured. Shot after shot.
Спасайся, кто может!
The Panzers resume their advance.
Кровь!
Stellungswechsel ausgeführt.
The crew have abandoned the Su-152. The infantry are in position. Schickner in the half-track moves forward.
Truppe umgruppiert.
Von McDowell now breaches the second minefield belt. Artillery,
Противник предложил прекращение огня.
the 120mm mortar. The crew are killed or seriously injured.
Мы сдаемся!
The last crew member surrenders.
Ziel neutralisiert.
The mortar is destroyed. Von McDowell continues the advance, with the tanks driving in column through the lanes in the minefield and advancing to the next high ground. The infantry now commence their advance on Hill 219. Von McDowell advances to capture Prokhorovka Ridge.
Stellungswechsel ausgeführt. Противник предложил прекращение огня. Gebiet gesichert.
Prokhorovka Ridge is now in German hands.
Stellungswechsel ausgeführt. Truppe umgruppiert.
Von McDowell advances to take Hill 236. Salzmann follows.
Krull!
Shadel leads his Zug in the advance across open ground. As the squads cross open ground, Altrich's squad in depth moves into the trenches.
Противник предложил прекращение огня.
Another ammunition cook-off in the T-34 flame tank.
Truppe umgruppiert.
The surrendered Russian mortar crew member is headed west, straight into a minefield.
Минное поле!
And is killed. Mines don't take sides. Gemma in the Tiger leads the push up the ridgeline of Hill 236.
Противник предложил прекращение огня.
Ammunition cook-off in the KV-1A. Gemma crosses the ridge.
Truppe umgruppiert. Противник предложил прекращение огня. Stellungswechsel ausgeführt.
The infantry are at the gap in the minefield. The Schützenpanzer and Puma move up to provide close fire support.
umgruppiert.
Zeltman crosses the ridge.
Stellung eingenommen. Gebiet gesichert.
Von McDowell takes Hill 236. Shadell leads the charge through the minefield to Hill 219.
Gruppe umgruppiert.
Cleese's squad follows. Then Knock's squad.
Stellung eingenommen.
Much like the tanks, they assault in single file, covered by the Schützenpanzer and Puma.
Stellungswechsel ausgeführt.
Gemma in the Tiger now moves north.
Противник предложил прекращение огня.
Zeltman and von McDowell also orient north. All three panzers have advanced to the high ground and can provide the infantry with covering fire. Contact. Casualties. The Schützenpanzer and Puma open up. As does the mortar. The infantry push forward quickly to take the trenches. Russian infantry.
Feind gesichtet. Feind gesichtet.
German infantry go to ground. Covering fire switches.
Мы пропали! Потели!
The Panthers provide covering fire.
Находимся под огнем!
Wir sparen Munition.
The Russians are taking casualties.
Противник предложил прекращение огня.
Knock has lost 2 dead. But the Germans have the upper hand. The Tiger pushes forward.
Wir sparen Munition.
Minor victory. The battle ended because the Russians fled the battlefield. The Germans gained control of the area and the operation is over. The operation ended because the Russians routed. You, Herr von McDowell, gained 1 campaign point. All of your training is beginning to pay off. German losses were 3 killed and 1 wounded, all in the infantry. Russian losses were 15 killed, 9 wounded, 7 prisoners, 4 tanks destroyed, 1 tank captured, and the 120mm mortar destroyed. The dogfight at Kursk operation was a minor victory. German losses were 4 killed, 5 wounded, and 2 tanks damaged. Russian losses were 34 killed, 19 wounded, 9 prisoners, 13 tanks destroyed, 1 tank captured, and 1 gun destroyed, the heavy mortar. The campaign remains a total victory. German losses were 20 killed, 28 wounded, 1 prisoner, 3 tanks destroyed, and 5 tanks damaged. Russian losses were 198 killed, 157 wounded, 70 prisoners, 52 tanks destroyed, 9 tanks captured, 5 guns destroyed, and 1 gun captured. Let's examine the Kampfgruppe. Major von McDowell is awarded a second Knight's Cross. I suspect this was for leading the charge through the minefield and taking Prokhorovka Ridge. Unterfeldwebel Baumann is awarded his second Iron Cross second class. Newly promoted Unteroffizier Feutinger and Gefreiter von Wittker shared joint credit for the 120mm mortar kill, and some bravery by von McDowell's entire crew. The Ferdinand immediately proves its worth. Panzerschützenklamper and Kortenhaus share credit for a tank kill. And once again, the 8.8cm anti-tank guns dominate. Newly promoted Unterfeldwebel Ohlmeier and Kanonier Wendlinger share credit for a tank kill. Unterfeldwebel Baumann is credited with 1.5 tank kills, sharing credit for the second with Gefreiter Schladitz. Casualties in the attacking infantry. Schütze Arndt is killed in Schädel's command team. And in the Fallschirmjäger Sturmgrenadier, Schützen Langanker and Eismann are killed, with Radel seriously wounded. Otherwise fine. The casualties are relatively recent members of the Kampfgruppe, each with 4 operations served. So, what did we learn? That was a reasonably textbook assault by Panzerschützen on a location defended by minefields. Artillery, individual tanks and heavy weapons destroyed enemy targets. Under cover of the 8.8cm guns and Ferdinand, the tanks drove in column through the lanes and advanced to the high ground on Hill 236 while providing the infantry with covering fire. The infantry crossed the valley, breached the minefield, and were about to establish a small bridgehead on the far side of the obstacle on Hill 219. Once again, the artillery ruled the battlefield, with 3 tank kills credited to the 8.8cm anti-tank guns and 1 tank kill to the new Ferdinand. However, I will need to think about the assault on Hill 219, which is where I lost my 4 casualties. I really thought I had de-risked the assault with good drills and plenty of supporting fires. The attack succeeded, true, but what could have I done better? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and donate, and stay tuned for the next episode.